Hello again, everyone. Hope you're well on this Thursday afternoon. It is 74 degrees, and we're supposed to get cold next week. We will see. More on that in a minute, actually. I have two terrific passages I want to share with you towards the end of this video or during the video, so stay tuned for that. You know, when a movement or when things are happening at a fairly slow or a slow rate, over time, it's more difficult to really notice it and notice the danger. And I believe we have that happening on multiple levels, but the one I'm going to talk about is something that, the big alarm bell was what we saw in this New York City election of the mayor. And a lot of people are saying it's gonna, New York City's gone, it's gonna flop, it's done and all that. Well, yeah, maybe. I think what I believe, and I may be wrong, of course. What I believe is that, or my next question is, who's the next New York City? It's my belief that this is not a one-off. It's not an isolated event. It's not a fluke. No. Look at Michigan, Dearborn, Michigan. And there are some other similar cities in the United States that are like this, y'all. What happened in New York City, the plan for them is to duplicate this in other places, okay? They're just one of the big targets, and they nailed it the other night. Who's the next New York City? Now, focusing on the city, on New York for a while, there's a lot of talk about how all the money's going to leave, and I do believe a lot of the big money is going to leave there. A lot of people are saying, it's going to Florida or Texas. A lot of the money that's leaving California is going to Texas or Idaho, some of those places. And then a lot of the the big money leaving New York City, or even just New York in general, is going to Florida. But I believe they're going in other places too. I know they're coming here too. They're coming into Georgia. We see it. We just ask that you vote differently or vote conservative, right? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I think it's, if they're coming here, at least don't vote in a way that made the place you left a crap hole, right? But I digress a little bit. So I know there's a lot of talk about all the mass migration that's going to leave New York City, and I believe it will. And their tax base is going to run away for the most part. But what I also believe, and I've seen some video of what's going on in there, on the streets, on the curbs, anyway, of what's taken over there. You know what I mean? What I believe is going to happen as well, though, they're losing the money people, some of the, the rich, but I believe they're going to see a massive influx of others like them, like their kind. I'll just put it that way. When the enemy gets a foothold, then their reinforcements and their real forces can march right in and take over. When the Allies got a foothold in Normandy, on the beaches of Normandy, when they invaded France to eject the German army out of France, once it took a while, it was very costly. It took a little time, but once they got a foothold on that beach, it was over. It was over for the German army, or what was left of it there. It just took time. That's what we're seeing. And I know that might be a bad analogy, but it just popped in my brain. But I believe that that's the plan. See, when you get these folks elected into office, They can make the rules. And I know it's just the city, it's not the governor, it's not the president, but there's a progression, right? If you look around and there's a fair amount. I mean, look at Congress, United States Congress. You got several of them, right? Well, Ilhan Omar, among others. There's others that aren't as talked about as much in the news or in the press or out there in social media. They're there. Look at your local leaders. You would be surprised. It starts local. This is deliberate. It's a plan. Because they can't take us militarily or, physically, right? It's impossible. They're not going to do that. They can't do that. At least not right away, not for a long time. But they can get into the government. Look at London, England. Look at London, y'all. My gosh. A cautionary tale. So that's what I believe is happening. What's the next New York City? They're talking about stock exchange might move out. I don't know. They say there's like a stock exchange in Dallas, Texas. That's wild. Dallas, Texas has the largest financial services right now in the country. Where it's growing, it's getting there. A good friend of mine from my good friend and Christian brother Nick from Australia told me not long ago in our chats. He said, as Christians, and especially Christian men, we must be bold. It is time to be bold. I agree 100%. Absolutely. It's coming. It's here. Be bold. Don't be afraid. But this is coming, and it is here. And men, especially, all of us, but as men especially, we must be bold. We must lead. We must be an example. Starts with each of us individually. We cannot, as an individual, change what happened with that election in New York City. We can't. That's done. But it's not too late in other places. So we need to be bold. We need to raise awareness and call this out. And you're like, well, dog, that's not going to happen in my little red county over here. Nah. Well, think again. Because like I said, it starts local. It starts small. I mean, these people are smart about it. They really are. They've been doing this for a while. Look at Europe. Look at parts of Europe, y'all. Now, I know we're a much larger country. We're spread out. But it's happening. I mean, look at the other night. But I just believe that my initial thought was this Mom Donnie character it's gonna be a total disaster, and it might be. And he's gonna have one and done. He's gonna have one term, and he'll be blown out in the next one. But I don't. When the reinforcements roll in, which they will, in huge numbers, well, you got your voting base. He'll get elected again in the next term, no matter what's going on, no matter how bad the crime gets, no matter how many less police there are on the streets. No matter how many other folks move out, they'll be replaced. And plus more. They'll flow in like you won't believe. That's just what I believe. That's what I think. I mean, he's already said we're going to be an absolute haven for newcomers to come in. That's the plan. And It won't stop with New York City. A little bit alarming when you think about it, right? What a wake-up call. It's real. Now, most folks are totally oblivious to this and would probably laugh. And, you know, that's the way they are. But doesn't mean it's not true. It's true. It's what we are looking at. I'm going to go to a couple of passages here in a moment. Bear with me. I meant to mention this at the outset, but I just got fired up talking about my main topic. But, and I mentioned that was like 74 degrees a while ago. And the sun is going down already on me. But the cold is coming next week. And it reminded me, if you haven't already, depending on where you are in the country, but especially those of us in the southeast, Georgia and surrounding areas with this cold coming in, it's time to think about, even in here, you know, cold prepping. You know, in other words, your home and your vehicle. As far as your home, you know, go ahead, disconnect your water hoses. Just a friendly reminder, cover the spigots up. Because they're talking about next week getting in the 20s and even the teens here in Georgia. That's cold for us. It's going to be a shock to the system. We got 70s this week. It's going to be 20 next week. I'll be complaining on video. I'll be complaining in my videos. It's cold. I probably will be. But cover the spigots, disconnect the water hoses, change out your AC furnace, your filter, and other things in the home. You know, get ready for some cold weather. Your automobile, if you got a vehicle you ain't cranked up in a while, go ahead and crank it up now. Crank it, let it run some. How's the oil? How's the antifreeze in there? Make sure you got antifreeze up in your radiators. And you know, I like to also check and put it in my the washer fluid and the windshield wiper fluid. I like to get the kind that doesn't freeze and, you know, helps out if you got some ice on your windshield or anything. So look at that too, or have somebody do it for you, right? Ms. Dog is like, take care of that, because I take care of the automobile stuff, right? Make sure your vehicles stay full of gas, or, you know, don't let them get real low and then this freeze comes in. It's not good for it, all right? And batteries. If your battery's a little, you know, long in the tooth, you might want to get that checked out. Just make sure it's not close to being expired. We'll put it that way. So you know, batteries like to expire even quicker in the extreme temperatures, cold or hot. So let's look at their Cold War preps, y'all. Also, you know, your inside your vehicle, you know, no matter, even if you're in the South, you know, make sure you got some hats, gloves. I mean, I keep a little extra water, protein bars, just in case something happens, right? I mean, you know, personal protection tool. By the way, I keep a protection tool. I've got two in here actually. And one I can carry, but one stays in the vehicle. I always have at least one within reach, within easy reach. Okay, so let's think about those things. Protection, things for cold weather, even in your vehicle. All right. Okay, I'm going to a passage, two of them, related to what I've been talking about. My main topic. Be bold. Let's not be afraid. We are not called to do that, y'all, as believers. We are in Proverbs. First one is Proverbs chapter 28, first verse. The wicked flee when no one is pursuing, but the righteous are bold as a lion. The righteous are bold as a lion. Amen. Now, going into 1 John. 1 John chapter 4, verse 18 says, there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear involves punishment. And the one who fears is not perfected in love. Amen. I just love the way that is put. And then verse 19, we love because he first loved us. Wow. Amen. Amen. It feels good just to say it. Just to say it. But let's stay close to Jesus. We say it often, but just another reminder. Let's keep in prayer. Pray without ceasing, because we need it. This country needs it. We sure do. Share your thoughts. Hit the like button if you like this video. Gained a lot of subscribers and new viewers, y'all. I appreciate it. It's really ticked up, especially in the last month or so. I appreciate it. I really do. Miss Dog appreciates it too. All right, again, let's be safe. Let's be alert out there. Stay close to Jesus. God bless you. I'll see you soon.